And we're back. Welcome to another video. Thank you for jumping on the channel and checking us out. Today we're going to be talking about self-filming. Have you ever been scrolling through YouTube and seen a great self-film video put together and thought, man, I'd love to do that, but it just seems hard? Well, you came to the right place, because that's what we're going to talk about today. How to get started in it, editing, all that fun stuff. I'm not an expert. Jeremiah's not an expert. We brought in a great expert, Jordan Blisset. He's been filming in the industry for a long time. He worked for Primos Hunting recently, but he also worked for Mossy, so he has a great resume. He knows everything behind the camera, editing, all that fun stuff. Just a disclosure, we did film this talk before turkey season, so we talked a little bit about filming turkeys, but we also talked about filming other animals as well. So he gave some great tips and some great ideas on that. So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to jump right into this conversation.
You there?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, welcome to the pod.
Well, not much. Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you, sir. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit to, well, my friend here, Jeremiah. He's from Missouri. He doesn't know too much about you, but I've been watching you since Truth Big Bucks 23, I think it was, on the Primos series. So
Long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, my name's Jordan Blisset. Live down here in Brandon, Mississippi, and yeah, I worked at Mossy before Primos, actually running camera and kind of got my feet wet and doing that kind of stuff, and got the opportunity to work at Primos in 2016 or 15, and worked there all the way up until February 2022, I believe. So recently departed from there. Actually, just the reason I left was to pursue my own business, so kind of, I guess, the American dream. But I'm still out beating around in the bushes and get to be in the woods every day and do what I like to do, so I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
So what would you say your favorite animals are to hunt? Like let's say your top 3.
Man, that's number one's gonna be turkeys, no doubt. Number 2 be white-tailed deer. I like the whole aspect of figuring them out, I guess, more so than the actual killing or harvesting part, whichever word y'all use. And third definitely would be elk. The only reason elk is third on my list is just because I don't get the opportunity to do it a whole lot, but it's very, very enjoyable. If I got the chance to do it every year like I used to, it would be number 2.
Yeah.
But whitetail's the second on it now.
Gotcha. Can I get a little background of like your background on photography and filmography? I guess that's the word. I don't know what the word is.
Videography, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, videography. Just a little bit for the viewers, kind of like you're not just some random guy that started filming. You definitely have a lot of credibility, and I know all the hunts that you always videoed on Primos were really good, especially the ones with Jimmy.
Yeah, so I'd always watched, hunting videos and stuff growing up, and the truth was a big impact in my life as a kid, watching Brad Ferris and Will Primos and those guys. They taught me a lot about hunting, and I always wanted to be like those guys, right? So from a young age, I always carried a video camera in the woods, and I guess self-filmed myself before that was cool. And I'd film my buddies, this, that, and the other all around the house. And actually went to school to be an electrician, and I was working in a steel mill, and I came across an ad on Facebook. It said this place called Giles Island down in Natchez, Mississippi was hiring hunting guides. Well, I was like, I'm 21 years old and don't have anybody I need to take care of. So if I'm going to take a chance on something, now's the time. And anyway, I applied for the position to become a guide, and ended up getting it. So I quit my maintenance job at the steel mill and went to guide that fall. It's a 4-month job, so I really didn't have a plan after that. But when I got down there, we filmed a lot of the hunts and stuff it's a fully guided deal. It's not like you went and took clients to the stand and dropped them off. Like, you actually went and got in a tree with them and filmed their hunt and help them make a good decision on the deer they shot, because the place was very, very intentionally managed on age. So Mossy actually came down there and was doing some TV shows, and I was like, man, that's my dream job there, right? And I ended up getting one of the camera guys' numbers, and just pestered them until they gave me the opportunity to come work for them. And anyway, when I started there, our job was to produce outdoor television, so it was a big learning curve for me, because I just filmed, buddies or nothing that had any pressure on it. And when I started Mossy Oak, we were actually filming 107 TV shows a year. So I was on the road about 300 days a year, give or take. So and it was all, all the TV shows were on Outdoor Channel, Pursuit Channel, Sportsman Channel. So it was a professional job, and I learned a lot about, how to operate video cameras and what all you needed to produce a quality hunt through that.
Gotcha. Awesome. So I have just a couple of questions. Just for, you said you did a little bit of self-filming, growing up, and I'm sure you learned a lot of stuff with working with Mossy Oak and the Primos company. What would you, like when you're filming a turkey hunt, I know that's coming up for that's on everybody's mind right now.
Yeah.
So this is probably my second year of filming turkey hunts. Mainly doing a lot of self-filming and maybe one or two buddies and stuff. When you're running like a camera for filming a turkey hunt, are you obviously you have your main camera, and then you have your B camera, which is usually on the hunter, or vice versa. What are you looking for shot wise, like to help, like even with the editing process? Because how turkeys, even Jeremiah knows how turkeys can be. You think you got one, and you got hours of filming on that and stuff like that. How would you set up the camera where you can get like a perfect shot, even like say something happens to the plan B camera or whatever, where you can get like the hunter, the turkey? Like what would you focus on more, as like on, especially like during the kill? Would you focus more on the hunter shooting, or as in the turkey getting shot and stuff like that? Like, how stressful it can be with that whole process, and still trying not to flash the turkey and stuff like that.
We're talking about solo filming, correct?
Right, yes.
Or
either solo or filming one other guy or something like that.
Okay, well, it's a whole different ball game if you're solo filming, or if you actually have somebody filming you, or you're filming somebody. Let's start with solo thing, man. It really just depends on what your goals are with the video. Like if you're if you're just in it to, produce a good hunt, focus on the actual turkey or whatever with your main camera. And, sometimes if you can't get him on camera, you got to let him walk off. That's why I'm saying, like, it's strictly what your goals are with that video. Yeah. Like my buddy, Dave Owens, who's got the Pinhoti Project brand, he's more of a teaching you how to hunt type documentary style video. So the actual kill shot's not that important for him. Okay. He's walking you through step by step on how he hunts and what he does every day. And some people are like, if they're have a brand, they're trying to sell a product or whatever, a call or whatever it may be. That's where the difference comes into play, because if you're trying to show how a product works, you need to have some good video of the animals coming in or whatever. That was a big deal with us at Primos, because we were a marketing entity for call company, Primos, decoys, and all that kind of stuff. So the actual hunt footage was very important with us. And it really just depends on the scenario, on the self-filming. What are you trying to get out of it? If you're trying to get out of it just for, to throw on YouTube to show how your hunt went, it's put a camera over your shoulder kind of wide, and turkey comes into it, shoot him, great. If you don't get him, don't let him get away.
Yeah.
Now, if you are two guys hunting and one's running a video camera and, one's shooting, that's a little bit easier. Still not easy, because turkeys will tie you in a knot. Just when you think they're going to come this way, they circle around and come in from behind you. But kind of the basics of what you'll need to produce a hunt, like just say a 15-minute video is no different than writing a paper which I was terrible at, but I still
Same here,
remember the
brother.
basic stuff, right? You got to start, you got a middle, you got to end.
Yeah.
So when you get in the truck or get out of the truck that morning, finna go in the woods, do a 30-second, 45-second interview, just like, hey, it's March the 15th. It's opening day of Mississippi turkey season. We got a turkey we think we know is in the vicinity. We're finna go in there and listen, and then go out walking, and then kind of get some footage, feet walking through the woods or whatever, night vision stuff. Then you get on the turkey. If he's gobbling on the roost, get set up, and then kind of give another update. Turkey's gobbling here. Kind of know this area. Think he may come here, or whatever the story may be.
Basically, make a story out of it.
Right, and turkey comes in, or if you shoot him or don't shoot him, whatever happens in the hunt, get an update after the fact from your hunter. Hey, he slipped by us. We're finna go around, circle him out. You just want to tell the story as it's happening. And when you do shoot a turkey,
I want to come back to the self-filming thing. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Okay.
But how would you tell a story like that if it's just you? Like when you're filming another guy, it's like, okay, he's right there in front of you. Where it's you, it's like almost like a selfie, basically. Which I hate doing those. I look really stupid in doing those, but I know you kind of need part of that to tell your story. But how would you go about that if it was just you?
Man, it's the most awkward thing in the world, turning that camera on yourself. But the secret, the secret to it is pretending like that camera is a person you're telling the story to. You don't, I tell everybody that I've ever filmed with or tried to help coach them along, if it's somebody new in front of the camera, is like, this camera is not like some big, extraordinary, intimidating thing. You just pretend like it's your buddy and you're talking to him on the phone about how the hunt's going.
Right.
And look into that lens like it's somebody's eyes and not to the side of it or behind it or whatever. And just tell how it goes. Because the thing, a lot of people don't think about is you can edit this stuff. If you slip up and say a cuss word or whatever it may be you don't want on there, you can cut it out if you want,
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, man. Is authenticity is the key to being successful doing this.
Don't try to be like Will Primos.
Yeah. I mean, you are who you are when you do this. And, if you try to be somebody else, it just isn't going to work.
Yeah. Viewers can see right through that.
Yep.
Yep. That's pretty much the question I had. Jeremiah, you said you had some questions for him.
Yeah, I got a few questions for you. So I'm trying to, this past year was the first time videoing, and I did it all on my cell phone, self video on some deer and stuff, which worked, got me by. It was fine, got to make some short clips, whatever. But what I didn't like is the deer was at 40, 50 yards. He looked like he was a mile and a half away.
Right.
And you didn't get that clear shot or just clear, you know what I'm saying. So I'm looking to try to buy a camera. Turkey season's coming up. That's kind of more of a focus right now, everybody. What would be a good camera that's not going to break the bank? If you could think of one in particular or something like that.
Yeah.
I know you can spend $50 if you want to, or you could spend 10,000 if you wanted to. But what would be something in between $300, $500, something like that? If there's something out there that I'm sure what you ran at Primos was probably a little more than that. But do you know of a camera that would do all right in that range or something?
Maybe go up in the budget a little bit, because this is one of these things. It's no different than your shotgun or a bow or whatever. It's a tool that you decided to spend money on that you're going to use in the woods. No different than anything. But I mean, I have ran cameras that cost $50,000 for the whole setup on a hunt, but I've also ran handy cams that cost $800 that do a fantastic job, just for like a novice or just amateur type videoing. It's called a Sony AX53. That's a really, really good starter camera. It's super easy to use. I actually downgraded when I left Primos because we still film a lot for my company I work for now, Open Season Properties, and I also do stuff with Lake Pickle at Onyx and doing videos. Like we're leaving Friday, doing a video trip down in Florida. But
Okay.
we have it's a P9 it's a Z90 I think. It's made by Sony. It's a little bit better upgrade than your average handy cam, but it's still not like super expensive. Like the whole setup's like $2,500, you know, like that's like tripod head, remotes, extra batteries, the whole rig, which is not terribly expensive when you're talking about investing in camera equipment.
Yeah.
And you get a good one of the biggest things with videoing is you want good audio too. Because if your audio is not good, like it's hard to watch, you know, and you can get by. You can get by with not as good video if your audio is good. You can hear turkeys gobbling and hear what's going on. Like you can get by with that, but you can't get by if the audio is terrible.
Yeah. So where to wear a mic like up here somewhere to get a better audio would be recommended then, or to help with that, or
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, but I mean, it's not a requirement because these little Nat mics you can buy from Rode, they're like $100 or $150 for top of the line when they're like this big. But they'll actually go into your external audio hookup on your camera, and they do a pretty dang good job for directional. Now, if it's not pointed at you, you know, it's not going to hear as much, but from side out in front, they do pretty dang good as long as it's not super windy. We do that a lot, just running the camera mic off of the camera without running a wireless.
That's what I was looking into getting for mine. I just got a Sony, what is it, the R800, the HF R800, I think it's called. And I'm looking at getting a shotgun mic for that, putting it on top of that, because it's got two mic jacks and a headphone jack. So
Yeah.
do you recommend like using the headphone jack, or that's something I just thought of I was going to ask you? Because I've seen, you know, you guys videos and you have like big headphones on and stuff like that, or is that just, you know?
A lot of times what we were doing with those headphones in is because your hunter's wearing a wireless. And if you got your headphones in, you can communicate back and forth. Because, I mean, they were at Primos, we were super particular on like when you're going to shoot the deer. So it had to be a lot of communication going on. But, I mean, honestly, you can use headphones, but you can listen to it, make sure ain't nothing crazy going on with your audio, and then kind of just wrap it up and go with it once you.
Yeah. Would you prefer a shotgun mic? It's called a shotgun mic, right? Like on the top?
Right.
Yeah. Would you
Nat mic or shotgun mic?
Yeah. Would you prefer that over a wireless? Because I've seen some of these adapters you can get on Amazon where like you have like a fuzzy lapel on, and then it has like a little adapter that it goes right into the mic jack.
Yeah, if I had to choose one or the other, I'm gonna use a shotgun mic just because you can get the turkey audio and all that. I mean, that's super important. It's like hearing the birds chirping and whatever else is going on in the environment. You know, you can pull the camera over and talk in the mic and you know get that heard. But you
I guess if you have a lapel, it's like you hear what is like right there on the guy's.
Right, that's super right here. You'll be filming a turkey out there gobbling at 80 yards, and you won't even hear him gobble on the mic, you know, and nobody wants to watch that either.
Right.
I mean, because that's most of the video. It's mostly hunting with turkeys. Is you have that good audio like you're talking about. Like you feel like you're sitting right next to the dude in the woods, hearing everything he's hearing.
And that was a big key with our, I guess, attention or whatever with Primos, like the retention rate is we didn't use very much music at all in the show, but we really focused on quality audio. So it makes you feel like you're sitting there in the woods with a person.
Yeah, for sure. So do you I'm looking into also to get a Tacticam. Have you ever had any experience with a Tacticam?
I haven't ran one at all. I know people that do and they like them. That's all I know, but I don't have one personally. I've never had one.
Okay. Right, because I know like, you know, they're like I'm looking at the Tacticam 6.0, I think that's what it is, like the action camera. And I'm thinking since I'm just really getting into filming, and Seth is too, but more so for me, sticking that on your gun barrel to be able to get an extra camera in for a turkey hunt, or and then you could stick it on your bow as well. Well, you know better than any of the rest of us, even deer hunting, getting that thing turned and getting it right,
Yeah.
self-filming, I feel like having that backup camera would give you a little grace, if you will, to get
I use
something
a
on camera.
GoPro. I use a GoPro in that same sense a lot. Like I shot a buck on camera this year during Mississippi velvet season, and I actually had my GoPro. Like I've got a clamp style mount with it that's a flexible arm, but it's got like a C clamp. You can put it on
Yep.
whatever you want to.
I got
Just
one of
like
those. I
clamp it
love
on
it.
there. And I clamp it on my bow or whatever when I'm bow hunting for just a added, because I had a new guy filming this year, the Hunter Farrier with Spring Legion, and he hadn't really filmed a whole lot of deer hunt. So he did great, but I had that on there for insurance purposes, like facing towards the deer, which I
Yeah.
do it on
Yeah.
shotgun a good bit too. It's just more versatile to me than the Tacticam, because once you kind of mount it on your gun with the Tacticam, it's there,
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's something I
I
like about
gotcha.
mine too, because like I can even like remove it, and like I did a little ground hunting this year, like spot and stalk stuff, and that was nice to have, to like clamp it to branches and stuff like that, to have too, like if
Yeah.
you can't get it on your bow or whatever. I was a little nervous putting it on my rifle for the recoil purposes, but I when I was sighting in my gun, I put it on there just to see what it would do, and it hung on pretty well. It's got some good, like the one I have has some good grips on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, as long as you put it on the stock of your gun, you're fine.
Yeah, don't put
It
it on
will
the
mess
barrel. I tried that.
on a rifle. If you do have like a bull barrel gun or something, it'll mess up your accuracy by clamping that on there.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good to know.
I'm I'm the least tech guy on this podcast right now. So I'm gonna just ask you different things. On a camera, it'll have like 60 FPS, and I recently kind of learned what that is. But I would just ask for you to kind of tell the viewers and everything what that is, because I didn't know. And then like I've looked at cameras that have it just says 4K or 5K, and it's telling the quality of the camera. What does that even mean? Because I'm kind of looking at it like I don't know if that's good or bad or in between or what it is.
So 4K is cool, but if you're putting it on YouTube or whatever, nothing can like broadcast in 4K right now. So what it is the resolution of the video. So it's gonna have more pixels. Don't get me into the weeds with it. I just kind of know what it does. I
Yeah.
know like if you're shooting in 4K, like if you're on post production, it's helpful because like you were talking about filming with your phone or whatever, like on post production, like if you're shooting in 4K and you go to edit it, you can actually zoom in and crop it, and you don't lose a lot of the quality of the video.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it does have advantages there. I rarely shoot like video anything in 4K because it takes up so much dang storage.
Oh my word, yeah.
Okay.
And it takes
So
forever to
kind of
download too.
yeah, it takes forever. So kind of your basics on your camera setup. You have about 4 or 5 functions that you really need to worry about if you're gonna like have a good video. Number one is your frame rate, which you're talking about the 60. I like shooting it on 30. You have it's a little bit smoother that way. 30 frame
Okay.
rate. On your shutter speed, unless it starts getting low light, about 60 frames a second or 60 speed on the shutter speed. And then depending on what kind of camera you have either iris or a gain. And what that does, it helps you gather light as the light fades.
Okay.
And if you can, the lower the gain or the ISO is, the better. It's clearer video and less fuzzy. That's really your basics. You need to have a good setting on a 30 frame rate. I shoot most of everything in either 1080p or either 2400p. So,
Yeah.
but 90% of the time it's in 1080, unless I'm like, know that we're going to be shooting a deer at 250 yards. I may kick it into 4K for just those few frames we're filming that shot in, so I can zoom in
Okay.
and post production. like what I was telling you
Okay.
about.
Yeah.
There's a lot
So in
in there,
most,
and a camera we don't have to worry about as hunters. It's just 4 or 5 functions you want to get set.
Or just some old
okay,
country
so
boy just
like,
need some basic info.
yeah, like man,
Yeah.
I don't know. And so most of the time you don't have to do in the 4K then to do a video, is what you're saying.
99% of the time my camera's set on 1080p.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine too.
All right.
Yeah, I
I
like
didn't,
like
yeah.
you said with the 4K, I like it for editing purposes because I can like, like you said, slow it down. But usually when I'm done with like the final production, like my editing software allows me to download it in 1080. So, and then you said you like it in 30. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
30
yeah.
frame, 30
I had
frame
it in
right.
like
Frame rate. A
in
guy that we actually had a guy that produced a lot of commercials for us at Mossy Oak, like high quality commercials. And he explained it like we used to shoot everything on 60 frames a second. But by shooting it in 30, it just like it smooths everything out. It's not so herky jerky when you're panning or doing whatever, because it's actually taking a pitch, like how a video works. It takes a picture every second, or how it like if it's set on 60 frames a second, it's shooting a picture 60 times every second.
Yeah.
So if you have it on 30, it slows that down a little bit and you're a little bit smoother, like you can get away with a little bit more bobbles.
Okay. I gotcha. I've seen on the like cameras will have, my connection might be bad or good, I don't know. But I've seen on cameras where you'll have an auto focus, or you can do like a manual focus. What is
Right.
your, I've read reviews on different cameras of, oh, this camera was great, but the autofocus sucked and you had to run the manual. Um, what do you, as the cameraman, have you found that works better? Is it better for you to do the manual, or if you get a nice enough camera, if you will, I don't know, that where you can hit the auto and you don't have to worry about it?
It's 50-50, man. Because if you're in the woods, I mean, if you're in thick stuff, autofocus, you can throw it out the window because it's going to pick up on that
Okay.
leaf 20 yards in front of you. But if you're like filming somebody walking down the road, or if you're filming in a food plot or open space, you can get away with autofocus. I mean, of course, if I'm in a position where I can use autofocus, I definitely am.
Yeah.
And I also recommend getting a camera that has peaking on it. And what peaking is a function you can turn on inside that camera that it glows red, yellow, white. You can set these different colors on it. And when something is in, sharp focus, it glows red. So you can tell what's in focus and what's
Okay.
not. So that's really, really helpful. I don't ever run a camera without peaking on, whether it's on auto or manual focus, because I can look at the screen and say, okay, everything's red, it's in focus.
I
Okay.
didn't know that's
Well,
what that's
that'd
called.
make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what that was called. Like the camera I used to take just photos with has that on there, and I was like, what is all these things flashing on my screen? But yeah, that I didn't know it was called that. That's interesting. But
Yeah.
I like what you said, like the manual or the auto. You were saying like it picks up stuff. It's insane because like I was filming this buck this fall, and I was like trying to zoom up on it, and I was getting really frustrated with my camera because it could not focus on the deer. It kept trying to focus on my broadhead sticking out the edge of my bow, and it kept like trying to like zoom in on my broad. I'm like, no, zoom in on the deer. It wasn't getting, like, the whole background was just blurry. So I then, like, after the hunt, I was just messing with my camera trying to figure it out, and I found the manual focus, and that really helped after learning that and stuff like that. So
Yeah, the peaking helps a lot because you can just glance at your camera and see, okay, it's red, we're good to go.
yeah. Well, Jeremiah, do you have any other questions for him?
I think that about covers it.
That's a lot
You
to.
taught this boy something.
Where are
So
you from, Jeremiah? You sound like you're from the South.
yeah, I'm digging your accent pretty good, man. I'm from Southeast Missouri, and I don't know, the rest of my family doesn't really have an accent, and they all wonder where I got it. I don't really know, but I got it. So
Out Arkansas a little bit.
yeah, I do have family from Arkansas, and they got that twang and stuff. But so I don't know where I got it from, but I'm glad I get it. I got it because a lot of people are like, where are you from? And kind of a conversational piece, if you will. But yeah,
Yeah, it was fun, and we had.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was saying I looked you up, Jordan, on Instagram, and because I was trying to figure out kind of a little bit who you are and whatnot, and saw some videos of you talking. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna love this guy. Get to get to hear him talk because I dig the Southern
Yeah.
for
I can tell
sure.
y'all something else, like
So
far as the video and stuff goes, it's a trade, if you learn to do it and get good at it, like you can do well for yourself, just odd and end jobs here and there that doesn't necessarily mean you're filming a hunt or whatever. Like a guy can make a pretty dang good living just knowing how to edit.
Yeah. You could edit other people's hunts too if you get good
it's
at it.
true.
Yeah. And get pretty fair wages once you get pretty good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. You were talking about your accent, Jeremiah. It was cracking me up because when we had all my in-laws are from Indiana, and we had an Indiana deer camp this year, and we all went up. We were up in there, and my in-laws were in the cabin. They're talking. They're Midwesterners, typical accent or whatever. He walks in. He's big. What are you, 6'6", Jeremiah?
6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, walks in, big old 6'7" guy with this deep Southern drawl. And they're all just like, "Who is this guy?" It's pretty funny to watch, but
Yeah,
y'all wouldn't realize it, but I'm actually from Tennessee. So, but I lived half my life in Pennsylvania, so I kind of lost the Tennessee accent. But
yeah, you lost it. It
it
ruined you.
slips out every once in a while.
Yeah,
Every once in a while, when I get upset, them y'alls come out.
Yeah.
But well,
That is
Jordan,
yeah.
we appreciate you coming on. I know you said you had company coming over, so we'll let you go. But we appreciate you coming on and taking the time and sharing some tips and stuff that we us old boys, country boys, will definitely use now that we know. So
Man, yeah, we finna go baptize turkey breast and some peanut oil.
hey, you go enjoy
There you
Florida.
go.
Trying to make
We'll
room
see you.
for the season. I appreciate y'all. Enjoyed it.
Have a good season.